Yes, Kenya. This is Daniel Kibuyu from Kenya. Today, I want to discuss to you a topic of how do you know you are born for greatness? How do you know there's something in you that is meant to be big, that is meant to shake the status quo, either of your family, either of your nation, something that is going to make difference biblically. Uh, when Esau and his brother Jacob they are born, Esau is not settled about his brother Abel because it is shown Abel had something that was disturbing Esau. When we come to Moses, when Moses is born, there is a crisis in the whole world. The Israelites are suffering, they are being killed. This shows that Moses has come. It is the welcome that Moses is getting into this world. Wherever you are born and you have that something in you in your life, there must be something in the spiritual world that communicates that there is something big in that family, in your family. When you are born, there is that communication that a child has been born who is coming to bring change. And in most cases, what follows after that is battle. You find from the time you are born, there is a battle after battle. You seem to be like these fortunes are coming your way. When your brothers are enjoying, for you, some fun things are happening in your life. This is one of the ways to identify that there's something special. Remember, the battles we go through in life, it is not that they just happen. There are forces behind everything that we are going through. There are forces fighting you that you don't know. And that is why it is good to pray. It is good to occupy your mind with positivity so that you can counter those forces which are coming to destroy what God has put in you. You need to keep on fighting back through prayer, through positive thoughts, because if you don't, those forces will gain power over you. That is something that you need to practice. And you need to pray intentionally, not because we are just taught to pray, but because you know what you are fighting for. And you know the repercussions of if you don't pray, what will happen. When Jesus is born, there is a star that is shown to the wise people. Even today, when you are born, there is a star attached to your life that appears to the people who seek you, who you are going to displace, and they are not at peace and they seek to kill you. So when you see problems, misfortunes happening in your life, don't take them negatively, take them positively. For example, when I was born, uh, I was born in a very poor background, but in a very short time after I was born, I lost my mom in the year 1996 when I was still gaining nursery school. Uh, by the time my mom died, I was to proceed to class 1. But due to that effect, when the other children were going to for their exam to go class 1, I was excluded. So I had to go in 1997. I had to repeat a nursery school. And now I went to primary in 1998. I studied all the way very well. I was number one from class 1 up to class 8. I used to be number one. Uh, after class 8, there was no school fees. So I found myself being left as the others reported to their respective schools. I was called Tala High School, which is one of best schools within the region. But because I never had money, I could not go. I worked in a club trying to get money. And to some extent, I thought now this is my new life. But I had to pursue education. Later on, I had the street children. Normally, we call them chokora. They are being taken to school by the new government that had come in, the Kibaki government. And these chokora, they were meeting somewhere in Nairobi. There is a church that these chokoras were meeting. So I came to Nairobi, and I was taken by my aunt, who is called Rose. By then she lived in the Kayole area, and that is where the church was. So I went and joined that church as part of the chokora. But their behavior, their dressing, I was so different because they were on this glue. They were always high. So after 3 days there, I saw I could not be taken to school. I sneaked out, and while I was sneaking out, I found a day school written somewhere. And I talked to the director who was at the door, and he told me about the school. And I told him I wanted education. He asked me, how much do you have? I had 3,000 shillings, which I had in my pocket. He asked me, give me that 3,000, get into the class, get the books. He handed me the books. The school was called Perfect Mission High School. It was in Kayole, somewhere called, I think, Iros, next to the Wabu Primary School. I started my education there. That was July. We are heading to the closure of second term. When the second term closed, we went home without results. We were told we will get our results when we report back the following term, that term. When we went, we found that school is no more, and the school has been turned to a plot. So I had to find out now. Everything has been lost. People told me now this is a curse because you ran away from home when your dad and your brothers were against it. To cut the long story short, I went to Uruma where my brothers were, and at the same time I found another school called Genesis Immaculate High School. And that is where I joined, and my brothers, now seeing my determination, they said they will be paying off my school fees. At the end of the term, we were told again, you will get the report form when we opened school. When we opened school, it was post-election violence. Life in Nairobi was hard. So I now wanted to transfer. I transferred to Katoloni High School in Machakos, a Sunday scholar. I went home and came up with a bicycle from my dad, which I used to ride to school and also from school. Anytime I'm not in school, I was selling water. I I had jerrycans. I would just use the bicycle to sell water to find peace and sustain myself. For the 4 years I was called to Jomo Kenyatta University to go and do mathematics. I had no school fees. There was nobody to take me to school, to university. So I went to one of the CDF offices and our MP, and I told them, even if there is no money, just write me a paper showing that before the end of this semester you are going to pay Kenya shillings 30,000. I told them, don't, it is, I will not come to say you said it. Just write it for me. I want that paper. They wrote and told me, and we don't want problem, don't come back to us. If the money will be there, we will send. I waited until during the exam, when the other children are producing the exam card. For me, the only thing I have is a paper. I was told uh, you cannot do exam. I cried, and that is the time I got saved. Then a friend of my dad, my late dad, called me. They asked me how I am doing. I told him straight about my problems. He told from now on I will be paying your school fees, and he paid it until I completed high school. That is university. After completing university, I was immediately absorbed into banking sector, Diamond Trust Bank. That is where I started working. I have never asked for a job from university. I started working immediately. And all this, I was saying God is in my life, and there is somewhere I am going. From Diamond Trust Bank, I jumped into digital lending where we formed Stawika Capital Limited with one of my friends who was a manager. Unfortunately, he is late, he died, Rafael Kebeu. I worked with Rafael Kebeu up to 2019 when I jumped straight to a Chinese company that is digital lending. I worked with the digital lending up to 2020, and Corona came. I jumped into microfinance sector. I worked with Mwananchi Credit for 3 years until a fracas in the 2022. There was a fight in the office between me and the director, and I found myself unemployed and having a court case. I fought this court case for the last 1 year up to 7th of September. That is when the case was dropped, though it is still on, but outside the court. After that, I now joined back to digital lending through the Chinese company. But I have an opportunity, I've been given opportunity now. I want to launch through this company. I will launch an equal product that I was doing in microfinance. My job here is to transform this into a microfinance, and I will do it because I know I have all the experience, I have all the wisdom, and God is on my side. Thank you, but understand everything you go through. Don't only that you take your positive mind, you will make it. There's something in each one of us that if you have positive mind, you will win against any battle that you go through. God bless you.